My name is Phil Cowdell. I have the honour and privilege of leading Mindshare North America. Very excited to be part of this panel on April the 11th at the Harvard Club. Make sure you're going to be there. Multiculturalism, Hispanics, and more than that, new generation Latinos. We all know the stats, we've seen the data, we've seen the expansion, we've seen the influence. But frankly, as a foreigner and a minority here in this country, it's quite interesting for me to see how we think about this and how it applies to marketing communications and dollar choices. And as most of us are probably aware, that there's probably still a disproportionate share of dollars spent in specific ethnic media to suit specific minorities. And the question is, how does that change? In my view, if I may, I don't think it changes because of a political agenda or political correctness or whatever. It's only got to change because it's the right thing to do and it's the right thing for our clients. Our obligation, our responsibility is, as media agents and as giving advice to our clients, is to say what the right thing to do is to carry the right messages to consumers to increase the likelihood of they will buy the product, use the service, etc. So for us, really, that challenge is not political correctness, tokenism, whatever the hell else it is, but it's more about saying, how do we know what's right? Now, the challenge probably here is that in many cases we break off and say, if language is different, therefore we need to have different ad in different media because they don't reach the language. As we know certainly from African American and certainly from Asian communities where the American English language is dominant, I think sometimes the sort of more acculturated and bilingual Spanish speakers get missed in the process, and I think that if we just get caught up in language, we're missing the point. It's about culture, it's about behaviour, it's about intonation, it's about nuance. And as we know, all great advertising works when we connect all those things and we make it into a compelling story. So if anything, I think the challenge is twofold. One, how to tell compelling stories that are relevant and resonate down to a level of not just saying Hispanic, but gosh, somebody second generation out of Peru who's from Lima who now works in this area, and by the way, they're in Texas, not Florida. And then the second part of it is to say, how do I make a business case? If this consumer that I've just described sees an ad in a general market in English, their responsive potential is X. If they see one that's just general Spanish, it might be Y. If they see one that is tailored to the nuance, their relevance, their neighbourhood, the way they speak, cast with appropriate people, all the way through to the cultural dimension, it could be Y. The challenge is there enough of an increment of response to justify the operating cost of making the separate message, distributing through the separate media and running separate teams to do? So the real challenge is a commercial one. Proving the efficacy of that investment by what happens as a result and how well people will respond better to tailored messages and therefore deliver better commercial advantage to the client and therefore show that the agency is making the right choice. So how do we frame the right choice? Well, we've got to look at it in a smarter, deeper, better way, and hopefully we'll talk about that in Harvard. So see you on the 11th.